Good morning. On behalf of Lieutenant General Scott A. Spellmon, the 55th Chief of Engineers and Commanding General of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and Command Sergeant Major Patrickson Hussein, the 14th Sergeant Major of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, welcome to the Northwestern Division's Change of Command Ceremony. This morning, we will bid farewell to the outgoing commander, Brigadier General D. Peter Helmlinger, and welcome our incoming commander, Colonel Geoffrey R. Van Epps. We will also recognize Brigadier General Helmlinger's lifetime of service to the Army and the nation as he retires from active duty. Please join me in welcoming today's special guests. From General Helmlinger's family, his wife Claudia and children John and Lucy, his mother Susie Helmlinger, his mother-in-law Gail Ranger, his sister Afton Pennell and her daughter Pilar, his brother Andrew Helmlinger and his wife Robin and their daughter Chloe, and his sister Dina Olson and her husband Mike and their daughters Momala and Polonia. From Colonel Van Epps' family, his wife Erica, and children Ryan Jackson and Addison Van Epps, his parents, Colonel retired Jim and Jane Van Epps. We also welcome our many important and valued partners and tribal leaders from across the Pacific Northwest and Missouri River Basin, friends, colleagues, and family, both here in person and watching from afar. Welcome. From time immemorial, armies throughout the world have conducted ceremonies to commemorate victory over an enemy, to honor their heroes, to celebrate special occasions, or to pay homage to their fallen comrades. These ceremonies add color and pageantry to military life. In the United States, the foundation of our present ceremonies was laid by the Continental Army. Today's ceremony reflects procedures practiced since the dawn of our nation. We hope you enjoy today's historic event. On behalf of the soldiers, civilians, and families of the Northwestern Division, Ms. Sam Rosenau is presenting Mrs. Claudia Helmlinger a bouquet of red roses. A single red rose for both General Helmlinger's mother and Mrs. Helmlinger's mother, and Northwestern Division tokens for John and Lucy, General Helmlinger's children. The presentation of a bouquet of roses has long been a tradition of the change of command ceremony. Red is the color of the heart and reflects the loving concern that Mrs. Helmlinger has shown to the division over the past year. The roses are in full bloom to symbolize the beauty and fulfillment of her time with us as First Lady of the division. Miss Brooke Highland is presenting yellow roses to Mrs. Van Epps to welcome her and the Van Epps family to the organization. Yellow represents the color of a new friendship and a warm welcome to our division. Additionally, Colonel Van Epps' mother is receiving a single rose, and his father and children will receive Northwestern Division tokens. Please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the playing of honors, our national anthem, and the invocation by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Command Chaplain, Colonel Jeff Bailey. Lieutenant General Spellmon has deferred honors to Brigadier General Helmlinger. The colors that are posted symbolize, I apologize, Chaplain.
Would you please join me in prayer? Almighty God, we pause and celebrate the successful command of Brigadier General Peter Helmlinger and give thanks for his leadership marked by professionalism, integrity, and compassion that create a climate for the accomplishments of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Northwestern Division. May you continue to bless and guide him and his family as they embark on continued service to community and nation in retirement. As Colonel Geoff Van Epps assumes the mantle of leadership here today, may you continue to imbue him with the same wisdom, character, and integrity that brought him thus far as he builds upon the success of Brigadier General Helmlinger. We also pause to give thanks for the team of professionals here within the Northwestern Division. Their dedication to the mission and providing engineering solutions provide security, navigability, environmental sustainability, and expert engineering and environmental support to the Lewis and Clark Division, covering everywhere from St. Louis to the Pacific Ocean. May you continue to watch over them and use their skills, intelligence, and capabilities to bless and protect the Northwestern Division. These things we pray in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Bailey. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The colors that are posted symbolize the very soul of our nation, the United States Army and the Northwestern Division. They record the glories of the past, stand as guardian over the present, and inspire in soldiers and civilians the loyalty, duty, and courage to achieve victory in the future. In the past, colors served as a rallying point for soldiers during battle. The change of command is a simple, traditional event that is rich with symbolism and heritage. Key to the ceremony is the passing of the organizational colors. These colors represent not only the lineage and honors of the unit, but also the loyalty and unity of its members. The colors are the commander's symbol of authority, representing their responsibilities to the organization. Wherever the commander is, there also are the colors. Throughout history, commanders ensured their unit flags were carried by one of their most trusted officers. Today, Mr. Eric Hansen, Director of Regional Business, will fulfill this honored role. The passing of the colors symbolizes the transfer of authority from the outgoing commander to the incoming commander. Out of reverence towards their colors, commanders hold the colors over their hearts as they are passed. The passing of the colors demonstrates to the soldiers and civilians of the organization the commander has passed the mantle of leadership to the new commander, and with this, also passes the loyalty of the workforce. Attention to orders. By the authority of Army Regulation 600-20, paragraph 2-5, the undersigned assumes command of the Northwestern Division, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, effective 22 July 2021. Signed, Geoffrey R. Van Epps, Colonel, Engineer, Commanding. Mr. Hansen will now present the division colors to the departing commander, General Helmlinger, for the last time. Brigadier General Helmlinger will then pass the colors to Lieutenant General Spellmon, thereby relinquishing his responsibility and authority. Lieutenant General Spellmon will in turn pass the colors to the new division commander, Colonel Van Epps, charging him with the same responsibility and authority. Mr. Hansen will then accept the colors from Colonel Van Epps, solidifying the bond between the Corps' military leadership and its workforce. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the retirement ceremony for Brigadier General Helmlinger. At this time, Command Sergeant Major Toussaint will escort Mrs. Helmlinger and John and Lucy to the stage. Attention to orders. The Distinguished Service Medal is awarded to Brigadier General D. Peter Helmlinger for exceptionally meritorious service to the government in duties of great responsibility over a 33-year career, culminating as Commanding General of the Northwestern Division, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Brigadier General Helmlinger made a significant and enduring impact in positions of increasing responsibility and strategic importance throughout his career, including as commander of the Army Engineer units at the company, battalion, district, and division level. His superior leadership, dedication to service, and professional excellence exemplify the values and ideals of the Army Engineer Regiment. His actions are in keeping with the highest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon him, the United States Army Corps of Engineers, and the United States Army. Signed, James C. McConville, General, Army Chief of Staff, or Chief of Staff of the Army. General Spellmon will now present General Helmlinger with the Silver Order of the DeFleury Medal. There are 4 grades of the DeFleury Award: steel, bronze, silver, and gold. To be awarded a silver DeFleury Medal, an individual must have personally had a significant impact on the entire Army Engineer Regiment over a period that spans numerous assignments in various units and organizations within the regiment, and in activities or organizations that directly support the regiment. Named in honor of Francois-Louis DeFleury, a French engineer in the Continental Army, the DeFleury Medal is an award of the U.S. Army Engineer Association honoring the French engineer for his courage under fire at the 1779 battle at Stony Point, New York, winning him the accolades of Congress. The British had recently captured the point and built up the defensive perimeter, including several batteries partially connected by trenches, log and earth redoubts around the main fort, and a double abattis. It was called Little Gibraltar. During the battle to recapture the point, the Americans scrambled up the rocky slope with the DeFleury in the lead. First over the wall, DeFleury followed by a wave of American bayonets, rushed to the flagpole, and cut the British colors from their staff. In addition to the recapture of Stony Point, the defeat of the British fired the Americans' determination and lifted their morale. And it showed the enemy that the colonies had an able fighting force. For his historic behavior, the Continental Congress awarded a medal struck in his honor. The Engineer Regiment adopted the DeFleury Medal as an award because of the values demonstrated by the man for whom it was struck, values of special meaning to engineer soldiers. General Spellmon will now present General Helmlinger with his retirement certificate. Attention to orders. This is to certify that Brigadier General D. Peter Helmlinger, having served faithfully and honorably, is retired from the U.S. Army on the first day of November 2021. Signed, James C. McConville, General, Chief of Staff of the Army. And at this time, Lieutenant General Spellmon will present Brigadier General Helmlinger the United States flag in honor of his 33 years of faithful service to the United States Army and the nation. On the occasion of the retirement of this distinguished soldier, we also recognize the outstanding, dedicated service and support of his spouse. The Meritorious Public Service Medal is awarded to Claudia Helmlinger for outstanding service to the Northwestern Division, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and the military community from July 2018 to July 2021. Mrs. Helmlinger's leadership as the senior military spouse was exceptional. Key to the division and district family readiness events, she was inspirational for U.S. Army spouses and families throughout the region. Mrs. Helmlinger is revered for her genuine care for others and her devoted commitment. Her patriotism, public service, and commitment reflect great credit upon her, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and the Department of the Army. Signed, Scott A. Spellmon, Commanding General, U.S. Army Commanding. General Spellmon will now present Mrs. Claudia Helmlinger with a certificate of appreciation signed by the Chief of Staff of the Army. This is to certify that Claudia Helmlinger, on the occasion of the retirement of your spouse from the United States Army, has earned grateful appreciation for your own unselfish, faithful, and devoted service. Your unfailing support and understanding helped to make possible your spouse's lasting contribution to the nation. Signed, James C. McConville, General, Chief of Staff of the Army. Thank you, General and Mrs. Helmlinger. Please feel free to take your seats. Let's have one last round of applause for General and Mrs. Helmlinger. Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant General Spellmon, the 55th Chief of Engineers and Commanding General, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
All right. Thank you, Christina. That's right. I've got it.
Got it?
I'm good. Great. Thank you, Christina. And good morning, everyone, and welcome to this beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest with Bonneville Dam all around us. As we're going to attempt to do our very best to honor two great officers, Brigadier General Pete Helmlinger and, of course, Colonel Geoff Van Epps. Hey, Pete, I just want to tell you, in my 3 years out in NWD, I don't think I ever visited Bonneville Lock and Dam on a sunny day. It rained every time. Every time I try to get out here. Hey, so before I get started, I do just want to take a moment and thank the organizers of today's event. You hear it all the time. None of these things come together by accident, right? There's a lot of heavy lifting that goes into this. So if you played a part, large or small, please accept our gratitude. And where's Christina? Oh, Christina's right behind me. We're going to start a new tradition today, Pete. You know, we come to these things, we never thank our narrator. Can we get a round of applause for our narrator? Christina, stand up, please. New tradition.
We have to do that. And I know time's a precious resource for everyone, but we really appreciate everyone taking their time out of their very busy schedules to join us. It just speaks volumes, right, to the relationships that Pete and Geoff had built with communities and our great partners over the many years. I would tell you, coming out of the hotel this morning, it was almost like a mini reunion down in the lobby, just meeting folks I have not seen in a long, long time. And I know people traveled a long way to get here, so many thanks to all of you. So I know Pete and Geoff would agree that none of us accomplish anything in this world, certainly anything in this Army, by ourselves. So I just wanted to take a little bit of extra time to make sure that we thank the families, right, that support these great soldiers along the way. And not just the families, the great NWD team of professionals. I know we have many partners out here with us. We want to say thanks to you as well. But I did just want to take a few moments and just talk about Pete and Geoff's immediate family. So Pete, I'm just going to start with you with your permission. You know, I am told Pete met Claudia about 25 years ago. They're going to celebrate the 25th wedding anniversary just here, August 3rd, I believe. It's right around the corner. Pete wanted me to tell all of you that 15 of the guests that are here today were also at his wedding. How special is that to have those friendships last over time? Great to have you here. Claudia hails from Yakima, Washington. She earned her bachelor's degree from the University of Washington. Claudia asked me to say it that way. And her master's degree from Troy State University. She gave up her professional career to raise their twins and to move on average every year and a half. Think about that, every year and a half, logging 15 moves overall during Pete's career. And throughout Pete's career, Claudia served in numerous volunteer positions. You just heard many of them as we presented her awards, family readiness groups. I think the president of the Wiesbaden in Germany Spouses Club. We know all the responsibilities that come with that. And then Pete and Claudia's 19-year-old twins, you've already met them, born in Leavenworth, Kansas, have lived in Germany, Northern Virginia, California, Oregon, and Washington. Lucy, it's great to meet you this morning. She's a sophomore at the University of California, Santa Barbara, majoring in biology. I know your dad can't help you with your homework anymore. John, sophomore at the University of Oregon, is a member of the Oregon crew team. Welcome to both of you. Now for the Van Epps family. Yeah, so Geoff and Erica have been married for 19 years. Erica is an elementary teacher in Springfield, Virginia. They have 3 teenagers. They're not here with us today. It's the tyranny of moving. We didn't have the house ready in time, so they're back home with some grandparents, but I do want to recognize them. 17-year-old twin boys, Jackson and Ryan, entering their senior year in high school. This will be, am I right, Geoff, their 3rd high school that we put them in? Okay, we know that's challenging. And their 14-year-old daughter, Addison, will be a freshman this school year as well. I am told all 3 of them love to play golf and ski, and this is a great place for them to do that, Geoff. And this move is lucky number 13 for the Van Epps family. And I know that although they have lived all over the world, this is their first time being stationed in the Pacific Northwest. And Geoff, I can tell you and Erica from personal experience, as we talked about before, that you are absolutely going to love it here. I mean, just look around. The geography is beautiful, but it's really the people that make this a special place to serve in the Army and the Army Corps of Engineers. So thank you. And so I'll keep moving. As mentioned by Christina this morning, our change of command, it is a time-honored ceremony. For our outgoing commander, Pete, I thought I would attempt to highlight your career by the numbers. So Pete is a West Point class of 1988. Think about this for a minute. The only one of 419 active duty engineer officers commissioned in that year group, 1988, to achieve general officer rank. One of 419. Pete's been a special officer. He is recognized by the 50th Chief of Engineers, Lieutenant General Flowers, as the 2001 USACE Federal Engineer of the Year for work as a Far East District project engineer at Camp Casey, Korea. He has served twice in the 14th Engineer Battalion. Can I get everyone to say it at once? Rugged. There we go. It's coming up again. He was the 2nd longest serving commander of the 14th Engineer Battalion. Everyone say it again. You got it. Commanded for 34 months and led rugged soldiers on a 15-month deployment to Operation Iraqi Freedom. And we all remember what those days were like. 3.5 years total deployment in both Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. 11.5 years assigned overseas, Korea, Hawaii, and twice to Germany. Served 14 years of a 33 career in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and we've been blessed to have him. 1 wife, 2 kids, 3 cats, 15 family houses, 16 cars. Wow. 25 years of marriage and countless fish coming out of the river. So it's, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute understatement for me to tell you that we have been blessed to have a leader of Pete Helmlinger's caliber here in the Army Corps of Engineers for many, many, many years. So today, the division he leaves behind is comprised of more than 5,000 civilians and soldiers. It's awesome in its geographic, economic, political, and cultural diversity. The Northwestern Division is nearly, think about this, 2,000 miles wide, comprising all or parts of 17 states, 65 congressional districts, that makes the phone ring, and 107 tribal nations. Two of the country's longest rivers, the Missouri and the Columbia, drain nearly 1 million square miles within their boundaries, and that stretches all the way from Seattle, Washington to St. Louis, Missouri. So in short, this is, as I said, this is a very special place to serve in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And under Pete's leadership, these past 2 years, he has made with this team significant progress. You know, we say winning in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is finishing quality projects on time, within budget, and doing it safely. And Pete and this team have been doing a lot of finishing. And I'm just going to rattle off a few. And all of these that I'm about to mention are hard. I mean, this is all tough sledding. 2019 Missouri River floods were the longest flood event, 270 days, and second highest runoff on record for that basin. So in partnership with states and many others, this division, under Pete's leadership, restored 118 damaged levees in record time to prevent flooding the following season and set conditions to restore navigation on the lower Missouri River basin. That's tough work. Completed and implemented the Missouri River Recovery Program, record of decision in 2018 to restore habitat for 3 federally listed species on the Missouri River basin, one of which those species was delisted this year. In partnership with the Bonneville Power Administration, the Bureau of Reclamation, and cooperating agencies, completed and implemented the Columbia River System Operations Record of Decision 1 year ahead of the original schedule to more effectively balance the operations, maintenance, and configuration of 14 federal dams here on the system. Completed the Mud Mountain Dam fish passage facility on the White River, which more than doubles the amount of salmon that can pass to the upper reaches of that basin. And one of my favorite projects, delivered the state-of-the-art U.S. STRATCOM command and control facility at Offutt Air Force Base. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I could go on and on. Pete, I can't thank you enough for all the finishing that you've been doing out here. I know I left you more than a full inbox when I departed a few years ago, so thanks for that. But last but not least, in addition to all of those accomplishments, I think the one that's most special to me, and I know to Pete as well, all 5 districts and the Northwest Division headquarters last year were recognized as USACE Best Places to Work in 2020, earning NWD the Pinnacle Award for the first time ever. And Pete, that all happened under your leadership. Again, those are not insignificant accomplishments, and I can't tell you how very proud we are of you. So what's next for the Helmlingers? There is as you saw, there's a bittersweet part to today's ceremony, because as part of this gathering, we are also going to celebrate Pete's retirement from a career that I know he loves and one that he is very passionate about. His priorities throughout his 9 years in division and district command have remained unchanged. Those are taking care of people, supporting partners, and delivering the program. And he has been doing all 3 of those things in abundance. And I will tell you that I have known Pete and Claudia for some time now. And it's in his role as your commander that I've had the greatest privilege to learn from all that he has given us in his service. Pete, while we are always focused on projects and the specifics of programs, you have always had the long view in mind. And I would tell you that I greatly appreciate that about your leadership. You have set not only future leaders in the Army Corps up for future success, but also many, many leaders throughout the regiment. And I think that just speaks volumes of why we have such a great gathering here today. So today, Pete and Claudia open up a new bright chapter in their personal lives here in the Pacific Northwest. They're not going to go far. And while we're going to miss both of you greatly and your family, we know that you are going to succeed in whatever endeavors or career path that you choose to pursue. And I just want you to know, from both Sharice and me and everyone at USACE headquarters, we have been blessed to know you both professionally and personally over these many years. We've been extremely fortunate to have your amazing leadership talent in our ranks. And Pete, Claudia, we miss you already. Thank you for everything you have done for our great nation. Ladies and gentlemen, can we get one more round of applause for Pete and Claudia Helmlinger? Again, thank you, Pete and Claudia. Now, for our incoming commander, I have to say that we are equally blessed as our new commander is just as talented. Colonel Geoff Van Epps was commissioned as an engineer officer from the U.S. Military Academy in 1995, where he received a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. He also holds a Master of Science in Engineering Management, a master's degree in Economics, Finance, and Management, and a master's degree in International Relations. He's also a registered professional engineer in North Carolina. And Geoff, we're going to have you put all that academic excellence to great work out here in the on the basin. And prior to coming to NWD, Geoff has not been a stranger. He masterfully served as our director in the Office of Chief of Engineers. That's our small platoon of staff in the Pentagon. And with modesty, Geoff will tell you that the accomplishments that he achieved while in the Pentagon was really up to the team. And of course, that's not a secret. But Geoff, none of that happens without great leadership that you have provided us. So think about this. He led this team in the Pentagon during the COVID pandemic. More than 60% reductions in engineer equipment portfolio happened to the regiment during that course of time, along with many other challenges. So again, served as our point man, an incredible representative when dealing with the Army Secretariat, the Army staff, the Joint Staff, various Army commands, of course, the Engineer School, and other key agencies. And I will tell you that in line with my vision, he led our efforts to define and refine an engineer regimental campaign plan, which we have not had in some time, set forth on 13 major objectives along 4 lines of effort, emphasizing people, readiness, modernization, and force transformation. The OCE team under Geoff's leadership also worked with the Engineer School and others to deal with a worldwide shortage of 12 Papa soldiers, our prime power production specialists, and by planning for a session of entry-level 12P10s for the first time ever in the regiment's history. And we're also working to expand our training capacity and realigning the prime power school underneath the Engineer School. And just a couple more. During a challenging time period of fiscal constraints, civil unrest back in Washington, D.C., administration transitions, which we're still working through, and of course, some significant policy changes along our southwest border, and the worst hurricane season on record on top of the COVID pandemic, Geoff ensured that our engineer equities were always well represented in the building, and that senior Army leaders, not just senior Army leaders, senior joint leaders were continually apprised of the challenges, risks, and opportunities. Geoff, I know that you're going to love it up here. We've talked about it, and I would only encourage you, you've got a great mission in front of you, but take time to enjoy this landscape as well. The 2 or 3 years that we'll have you out here before you know it will go by very, very quickly. So Geoff, welcome. We feel fortunate again to have a leader of your caliber join us here in the great Northwestern Division. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let me just wrap up by saying it's something that all of you already know. It's no secret that serving as a commander, and certainly a commander in the Corps, is a tough, but it's a very important job. And being selected as a division commander doesn't happen by accident. It requires highly motivated, agile leaders to manage the tremendous volume of work that we're going to put in your inbox. And we've been blessed to have Brigadier General Pete Helmlinger and now Colonel Geoff Van Epps join us. They have proven time after time in their careers that they are up to this task, and we look forward to all that they're going to accomplish here in the future. So members of the NWD team, I'll leave it there. It's great to see all of you again. Thanks again for all that you have done to put this great ceremony together as we honor these 2 great officers. SA ONS, Army Strong, Building Strong. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the Northwestern Division, Colonel Geoffrey R. Van Epps.
Thank you, General Spellmon, and to everyone who's joined us, former chiefs of engineers, general and flag officers, members of the senior executive service, our regional tribal leaders, NWD's many stakeholders and partners, family and friends, past and present members of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and especially to my new teammates in the Northwestern Division, both those present in the audience today and virtually. Good morning, and thanks so much for joining us on a beautiful day in the Columbia River Valley. You know, at the change of command ceremony for a brigade or a battalion, it's always warranted to compliment the unit command sergeant major and the soldiers in formation for looking sharp and executing a professional ceremony. Well, NWD, we don't have a formation full of soldiers, although we do have a great band who's come here to join us and support the ceremony. And we had Mr. Hansen, who very capably filled in the role that's normally performed by the Command Sergeant Major. And we still owe many people thanks for pulling together this first-class event. My sincere gratitude to everyone who had a hand in this, for your precision, your attention to the details, and your pride in our organization. What a great impression you've made on me, my family, our guests. Clearly another reason the division's super reputation is so well-deserved. General Spellman, I appreciate your kind words. I'm grateful for the confidence you've shown by entrusting leadership of this division to my care. Command is a sacred responsibility, and I will work every day to fulfill the obligations that come along with it. I also owe you thanks for the leadership you provided over the past year while I was in OCE. I learned a lot from the job, but I also learned an incredible amount from you, and I'm certain I'll learn even more from you in this assignment. Sergeant Major Toussaint, I'm so happy you could make the long trip out for this event as well. You've been an overwatch of me and the units I've been privileged to lead for the past 3 years, 2 in Hawaii, and most recently from headquarters USACE, and I've only benefited from your wise counsel and your healthy doses of common sense. General Helmlinger, sir, thanks for a great transition, for graciously orienting me to NWD's massive program and hugely complex organization. You make command of this division look easy, but I know it's not. All the best to you and to Claudia and the twins as you write the last few lines of this chapter of your lives and start the next one together. Godspeed, sir. There have been innumerable great leaders, officers, NCOs, civilians, and soldiers I've worked with over the years who've coached me, challenged me, and inspired me to continue in this profession. I'm grateful to all of them. But I've also found inspiration in my family. And this ceremony and the journey to get here would be lonely, boring, and frankly impossible without them. Mom and Dad, any modest success I've had to this point was built on a foundation you laid from my earliest days. I clearly chose my parents wisely. Thank you. For my 3 amazing kids, Jackson, Ryan, and Addison, I know you're way happier in West Virginia with your grandparents today, shooting guns, riding dirt bikes, and doing all the other things your mom wouldn't let you do if she were there. I know you're always riveted by my speeches, and if you're actually following on YouTube, the only thing I need you to remember from this speech is that I think you're all amazing. Thanks for voting to have the entire family move yet again. You're going to love it out here in Portland. Can't wait for you to join us. And lastly, Erica, just a simple thank you. I'm fortunate beyond measure to have you by my side for yet another adventure, and I wonder every day how I ever got so lucky. Seriously, thank you. I'll close with a brief story. 27 years ago, in the summer of 1994, I was a cadet and a civil engineering major. While I went off for some military training, my roommate, who was also a civil major, got picked to spend his summer with USACE in Rock Island. And I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. To get to put his degree to work, to get to do real engineering, to be part of the world's greatest engineer enterprise, even for a few short weeks. I was incredibly jealous and have been looking for a chance to join that team, this team, the Corps of Engineers, ever since. And my roommate turned out to be a great officer, but he decided to fly helicopters rather than become an engineer. And lucky for me, or it might well be him taking command of this division today instead of me. I've never stopped thinking that serving in USACE would be the coolest thing in the world. I hear people flippantly, sometimes even sarcastically, talk about living the dream. Not for me. This is the dream. It is the coolest thing in the world. And I know how fortunate I am to join the legendary team here in NWD. Everything the chief just said about the division, over 5,000 people strong, operating across 2 major river basins, 17 states, 65 congressional districts, 107 sovereign tribal nations, dozens of military installations. We have a ton going on to help secure the nation, keep the economy humming, protect our citizens from disasters. I'm ready to do my part, starting right now. So let's get to it. Essayons, thank you.
And our outgoing commander, Brigadier General, retired, Peter Helmlinger.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm humbled and honored to stand before you in this beautiful Columbia River Gorge at the Corps' iconic Bonneville Dam, surrounded by family, friends, colleagues, and mentors. I feel I have gone full circle, literally around the world and back, to finish where I began. 37 years ago, I departed Tacoma, just 170 miles from here, to enter West Point. I can't think of a more glorious location for the final page of my Army career. I thank you for joining us in person. It is great to see so many people united after a long year of pandemic precautions. Some of you have traveled great distances to be here, and I appreciate it. Especially Lieutenant General Spellmon, Command Sergeant Major Toussaint, and Chaplain Bailey from USACE headquarters in Washington, D.C. I also want to shout out to the many people joining us virtually, including the 54th Chief of Engineers, Lieutenant General Retired Todd and Connie Semonite. I want to give special recognition to the tribal leaders who are joining us here and virtually. I value their trust and partnership with the Corps of Engineers, and especially want to thank them for joining us with their presence. I also want to thank our other distinguished guests and partners who are with us here today, and we're very fortunate to have with us the former USACE Director of Civil Works, Mr. Steve and Joan Stockton. Thank you for joining us. So welcome all. Please join me in appreciation once again for our Oregon National Guard Band, and as well as the Bonneville Lock and Dam staff. And appreciation goes out as well to the NWD headquarters and Portland district staffs, which have made this such a memorable day. This facility is one of the most visited centers in the Corps of Engineers, with over 500,000 visitors that come here annually. When I proposed adding to their workload with this event, they responded in true engineer fashion's essayons. So I thank them all for the incredible work they've done here today. When recognizing people, there's always a risk of forgetting to name someone who is truly deserving. Therefore, please forgive me if I do. In my remarks this morning, I will try to thank most people, therefore, in generalities. Today, you witnessed a double ceremony with the traditional change of command, followed by my retirement. Therefore, I will have a few words to share on the Northwestern Division, then a few words on my career, and then close with a few final thoughts for all on the future. Let me begin by thanking the incredible 5,200 team members from the Northwestern Division and our fantastic partners. After averaging about 17 months in any position that I've held, I feel blessed and honored to have served as a Northwestern Division commander as the capstone of my career. This is an engineer's dream job, Geoff. You're spot on there. And it has truly been a pleasure to serve with such a professional, selfless, and dedicated team conducting meaningful work for our nation. The mission of the Corps of Engineers is to deliver vital engineering solutions in collaboration with our partners to secure the nation, energize the economy, reduce disaster risk. As you've heard from General Spellmon, our team members and partners have ably done that, responding to floods, wildfires, a pandemic, preparing for earthquakes and climate change, restoring the environment and critical fish habitat, planning, constructing, and operating critical infrastructure for hydropower, navigation, flood control, and water supply, and building strategic facilities for the military across our region. Northwestern team members have delivered solutions to our nation's toughest challenges, and I am proud to have been part of this team. Any job has its successes and challenges. It is no secret that my predecessor in command was Lieutenant General Spellmon. He is a tireless, sincere, and humble leader with an incredible range and mastery of knowledge. We are fortunate in the Northwestern Division to have him serving now as the Chief of Engineers because despite his global responsibilities, his steel-trap mind well understands the many complex issues of the Columbia River and Missouri River regions. In fact, when I usually share a success with him by the Northwestern Division team after overcoming a challenge, he typically replies, "Well done, that last commander really screwed things up." With that, I heartfeltly pass the torch to Colonel Geoff Van Epps. Congratulations, Geoff. I'm thrilled for you, Erica, and the entire Northwestern Division team. I have no doubt NWD will reach new heights under your leadership. And if they don't, you can always tell the chief that last commander really screwed things up. In all sincerity, I know that would never happen. Geoff, I wish you all the best and will continue to cheer for the Northwestern Division and the Corps from the side. Next, I'd like to share a few words about my career. I appreciate General Spellman's kind remarks and his by-the-numbers summary. I have been incredibly blessed and fortunate to have been given so many opportunities to work with so many wonderful people. If I could have done it all over again, I would, only I don't know if I could have been this lucky twice. I want to thank my many mentors whose inspiring examples have taught me what right looks like. Some are here in person, including rugged battalion commander Steve Perrineau, who taught me as a company commander what it means to take care of soldiers. Others are viewing online. I want to thank Major General Ed Jackson, who taught me in the first year of Operation Iraqi Freedom, the meaning of service. Also viewing online is Brigadier General Ralph Lacurcio, who inspired me as a young lieutenant with his zest for life. I have to thank Lieutenant General Tom Bostic, who literally taught me mechanical engineering as a cadet at West Point, but more importantly, taught me how to be a strategic leader when serving as his Chief of Staff at USACE headquarters. And finally, I have to thank Lieutenant General Todd Semonite, who taught me the power of passion and energy. I have many other mentors here and online, and I thank you for all you have done. I've strived to pay it forward. One's real legacy in the Army is not what you accomplish, but what your subordinates will accomplish. I want to thank the many great soldiers, subordinates, and teammates I've had the honor to serve with. I would not be the person I am today without them. Some fantastic team members traveled long distances to be here, and I'm delighted to see you. Others are online. I wish I had time to recognize your accomplishments by name. To all, I offer my heartfelt gratitude and thank you for your hard work, dedication, and many sacrifices for our country. Our Army is strong, and our nation is thriving because of your selfless service. I'm deeply touched by the many friends who joined us today, spanning almost every period of my life. From the Boy Scouts to high school, to West Point, to service as a lieutenant in Hawaii, service as a captain at Fort Lewis, a major in Germany, a lieutenant colonel back at Fort Lewis, numerous Corps of Engineer assignments around the world, and several deployments. To all, I thank you for making the journey what is most important and not the destination. To quote It's a Wonderful Life, no man is a failure who has friends. So thank you. I'm also blessed to have almost my entire family join us here today in person. My mother, Susie, my sisters, Afton and Dina, my brother, Andrew, and their families, Claudia's mother, Gail, and brother, Dave. A mentor told me long ago that when one leaves the Army and hangs up their dog tags for the last time, and I hung up mine yesterday when I got home from work, all that you have left is your family. So take care of them. I'm lucky to have mine so close and nearby. They've kept me grounded, taken care of me, and supported me these many years. Another quote, this time from Nat King Cole: "The greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return." So thank you. I love you. In tribute, the family member I have to recognize the most is my father, Lieutenant Colonel John A. Helmlinger. He served as an Army engineer for 20 years, including 2 tours in Vietnam and command of the 864th Engineer Battalion. I was inspired to serve by his example and always strive to emulate his calming confidence, sense of honor, and good nature. He had a lucky star, and I know he is smiling down upon us from above. Finally, as I wrap this up, I want to share a few thoughts for the future. As General Spellman shared, my priorities in 9 years as a USACE commander have been constant: take care of people, support partners, and deliver the program. These priorities have weathered the test of time and can carry us successfully into the future. Number 1 is people. General Creighton Abrams said, "People aren't in the Army, people are the Army." Train, empower, and reward people, and they and the organization will thrive. Number 2, partners. We can't be successful unless our partners, stakeholders, and customers are successful. Build coalitions and always strive for win-win solutions. And third, deliver the program. Our credibility rests on our ability to meet our commitments for cost, schedule, quality, and safety. As the nation's largest public engineering and construction agency, the Corps of Engineers must set the standards for world-class delivery. Now about the future. Change is always inevitable. I have no doubt the world will face complex challenges that we can't even imagine today. Looking back over my 33 years in uniform, I couldn't have imagined the many world events and leaps in technology that occurred. Our Army has met every challenge in its 246-year history and is one of the most trusted institutions in the nation. Looking forward, I am confident the Corps of Engineers, with our partners, will continue to revolutionize, innovate, lead, and shape change for the common good. The vision of the Corps is to engineer solutions to our nation's toughest challenges, and I know that by taking care of people, supporting partners, and delivering the program, the Corps will continue to do so. The future is truly bright for our nation. The last word goes out to my wonderful wife, Claudia, and our great kids, John and Lucy. Thank you. It has been an incredible journey. You are my greatest source of inspiration and happiness. Your love and support has kept me going strong these many years. I love you, and I always will. I look forward to our many great days ahead, both here in Portland, where we plan to stay for a while, and what may come in the future. Claudia and I were married 25 years ago at the Fort Lewis Chapel. On that day, Claudia pleasantly surprised me by slipping in a final line to close our wedding ceremony. I will end the final page of my Army career with that line. And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. Thank you all. Again, thank you all. Rugged, building strong, Army strong, and soldier for life. Hooah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the playing and singing of the Engineer and the Army songs, and remain standing for the departure of the official party. The words to the songs are located in your program.
Pin the castle on my collar. I've done my training for the team. You can call me an engineer soldier. The warrior spirit has been my dream. Essayons, whether in war or peace, we will bear our red and our white. Essayons, we serve America and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Essayons, essayons. March along, sing our song with the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. Then it's hi, hi, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cadence loud and strong, for where'er we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
On behalf of the commander of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, we want to thank you for your attendance at today's ceremony. Colonel Van Epps and his family will stay at this location to meet each of you. Brigadier General Helmlinger and his family will receive friends and family and well-wishers on the Visitor Center roof. Light refreshments will be served in honor of his retirement. Thank you for joining us on this historic occasion.